Thank you. Okay, we're up to starting the sukkahs. So we're going to start a little bit with the dinim of building a sukkah. Now there's a lot of intricate details in the building of a sukkah. We're going to just discuss general guidelines of how a sukkah should be built. So a sukkah, al pi din, needs at least 3 walls. Preferably is 4 walls. It's preferable to have a sukkah with 4 walls. But halachically, 3 walls is enough. Sometimes 2.5 walls would also be enough. In fact, it's brought down in Sfarim that the word sukkah is samach chaf hey. So samach is 4 walls, chaf is 3 walls, and hey is 2.5 walls. So it's possible because the minimal measurement of a sukkah is 7 tefachim by 7 tefachim. And the minimal height of a sukkah is 10 tefachim. So tefach is anywhere between 3 and 4 inches. So basically, l'chatchila, you should have a sukkah at least 28 inches by 28 inches, and at least 10 tefachim would be 40 inches high. That's the minimal size of a sukkah. The Gemara says that's where a person, reisha v'rubei, the head and the majority of his body, and a little table can be in there, and he would be fulfilling the sukkah. Now you have to make sure when you build the sukkah, number one, it's not under any trees. It cannot be under an overhang. If a sukkah is under an overhang, it's not kosher. Okay, sometimes you have a problem with trees all the way up, so that details that have to be asked. But generally speaking, a sukkah is asked to be under tachas kippus hashemayim, and it cannot be under any overhangs, any trees and things like that. Now, a very important thing to keep in mind that sometimes you have, let's see, in a practical case, a lot of people in California have the canvas sukkahs. Okay? So the way the canvas sukkahs are built, you have to make sure the walls are sturdy, don't blow around in the wind. But the way the sukkahs are made, you have the walls of the sukkah, the poles, right, the frame of the sukkah, and then on it you put the canvas, and the canvas hangs down. Okay. Now, according to halacha, the walls of the sukkah must come within 3 tefachim of the ground. That means it has to be within 9 inches of the ground. If it's 2 feet off the ground, let's say, it's not kosher. It's not a kosher of sukkah. Sukkah has to be, the walls of the sukkah has to go down within 3 tefachim, at least the 3 walls. You know, that makes the kosher of sukkah. Has to come down within 3 inches of the wall. 9 inches, of the floor. So a lot of times, though, let's say you have, just for argument, Not more inches. It could be less than 9 inches, yeah.
Even one tefach is 3.6, for example, and 3 tefach is 12 inches.
Yeah, I said, so if you hold it's 4 inches, then it's 12 inches. But you want to be machmer. In there, you want to be machmer the other way. So therefore, you have like this. A lot of times, let's say, just give you an example. Let's say you have a 10-foot frame. Can you hang the canvas on it? So now, the canvas, let's say, is 8 feet. So now when it comes down, you have 2 feet that it's above the ground. So that's not kosher. Okay? So what do you have to do? What happens though, the wall, the frame of anything is 10 feet and you only have 8 feet. So what do? So to leave 2 feet at the bottom open is not kosher. But there's a rule like this. If I have a kosher wall, kosher mechitza, 10 tefachim high, okay? And then the frame goes up, this is the frame, okay? And now here I have schach. Schach is going over here. Even if the wall, if it's a kosher wall of 10 tefachim, even if the wall doesn't hit the schach, but if it would go up, it would hit the schach, so then it's kosher. The other way would not be kosher, this way would be kosher. Why? There's a halacha l'meshe Sinai. It's called in Gemara language, halacha language, good asik. Good asik means that once I have kosher walls, halachically the walls just keep going up. Now, what happens, there's another important rule when it comes to halacha and especially sukkah, that why does it have to be within 9 inches of the ground? Because something which is within 3 tefachim of each other, and again, l'chumras tefach is 9 inches, 3 inches, so it's 9 inches, it's considered connected. So let's say this is the wall, and the schach is over here. It's a little bit space between the wall and the schach. As long as the schach is within 9 inches of the wall, it's good. Because halachically, it's like it's connected. If the wall comes within 9 inches of the ground, it's like it hit the ground. Okay? But so what happens if I have now schach like this on top of the sukkah? So the wall, the frame, right, is higher, and this is the wall. So now the sukkah is on the frame, which is above the wall. As long as the wall would keep going up, it would hit the schach, or within 9 inches of the schach, then it's considered kosher. It's like you have a kosher sukkah. But the other way, so you have to make sure, anytime, it doesn't have to be canvas, anytime you have a 10-foot frame and an 8-foot wall, you have to make sure the wall is going down, not and open on top, rather than close on top and open at the bottom. What?
So if the schach is shorter than the wall?
Yeah. The schach doesn't have to be on the wall. Let's say the wall goes up higher than the schach, and you have a frame here of wood that you're going to put the schach on. So the schach doesn't have to, it has to be on a frame. It can't hold in the air. But we'll learn about the frame of the sukkah. It cannot be metal. It cannot be davar makabel tumah. Okay? The frame. Not the frame. The frame itself could. But what the schach is leaning on, if it's the middle of the sukkah, cannot be metal. It could be boards, not even nailed in. Schach cannot be nailed in, because then it's not schach, it's connected to the wall. Okay, that's issue number 1. Issue number 2 is like this. What happens if I have my house, okay, and I want to use one of the house walls for the sukkah? Okay? The problem is, so this is the house wall. Can't see it on the machine. This is the house wall, and I want to use this wall as one of the walls of the sukkah. The problem is, there's an overhang. A lot of times you have an overhang or a balcony from above, or whatever. You have a balcony from above, right? So now, this is overhang. So the question is, and this is not kosher schach, because it's a wall. It's a wall, an awning, or just whatever it may be. So the din is another interesting halacha l'Moshe Sinai. If from the house wall to the end of the pasal schach is less than dalet amis, which is 6 feet, it's called dofen akuma. Dofen akuma means, gotta listen to this. If it's less than 4 amis, halachically the wall goes here. Either wall's here, but if it's less than 4 amis, the wall moves. Or the wall goes like this. Dofen akuma means a crooked wall. So then it would be kosher. But if it would be more than 4 amis, be more than 6 feet, this wall cannot be counted as a schach. Even if you count this wall as a kosher sukkah, but you can't sit under the overhang, because that's not kosher schach. But the wall is able to be used as a wall, if it's less than 4 amas. This is very practical dinner, by the way, because people build the sukkahs a lot straight from in the back. What?
Now, what's if, going back to empty space? What happens if there's empty space from the wall of the sukkah, maybe that's the next thing, to the schach? Does this then imply that?
No, so here, let's say here's the wall, and the schach doesn't go to the wall?
Yeah.
We said 9 inches.
Only 9.
Within 9 inches, because then it's loved.
Up to 6 feet.
Yeah, if it's non-kosher to schach, that goes this way, I'm going it, yeah? So then, if it's less than 4 amas, to figure less than 6 feet, so then this wall is a kosher wall. You can't sit under here because it's not kosher to schach.
Did you put schach?
No, because this wall moved.
Oh, the wall is...
The wall moved.
85 feet.
Yeah. What?
Are you allowed to measure exactly 6 feet and cut the spot at that point? Or
No, that's only, by the way, if there's an overhang.
yeah, right.
If you don't have an overhang, you have a wall, and I want to just put schach 4 amas, 3.5 amas away. You can't do that. It's only this overhang, halachically, moves the wall. It moves up, but if there's no wall, there's no overhang, you just can't, schach has to go within 9 inches of the wall.
So if the branch of the tree is overhang also,
If the overhang of the tree is within less than 6 feet, then you can use that wall, but you can't sit under the tree. But if the tree on top is more, sometimes you can have, sometimes they cut the trees, sometimes they don't cut the trees, when they cut the trees here in Beverly Hills. So sometimes you can have that, you can have the whole sukkah covered by a tree. Then you have an issue. Right. What?
So that specific area, for example, that less than 6 feet, are you allowed to benefit from it? Are you allowed to sit in it if it's a shaded area, for example?
Yeah, but you can't eat under it. You're not makayim the mitzvah. You can't make a bracha leisha basukah. It would be a bracha levatala. And you can't eat anything that needs to be eaten in a sukkah, but you want to sit there to read a book. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to sit in the sukkah either. You could sit in the house. But that's that then. Another, you can't build, donate a lot. You can't build a sukkah, is another din that people are unaware of. I can't build a sukkah on your property without your permission. Okay? Or in a public place, I can't build a sukkah without permission from the city. And he did, it's kosher b'di'evah, but you can't make a leisha b'sukkah. That's what it says in halacha. Because it's karka nigzeles, it's like stolen land. So even though technically land cannot be stolen, but you can't, you need to, so it's a very interesting thing. What happens if you have a sukkah mobile? I'm not saying it's a whole controversial issue. Let's say you have driving a sukkah mobile, okay? And you park the sukkah mobile in an illegal parking space. It's on the red line. Okay? So now the question is, the sukkah is standing, even though it's really, the question over here is, I'm not saying what the din is, but the question is, the sukkah is standing on a truck. The truck is standing, it's not that the sukkah is on stolen property, but it's not so simple. You have to understand, because you're not allowed to park there. On a red line, you're not allowed to park. So let's say you park by a meter and you put money in the meter, so then you rented the space, it's yours. Halachically, you rent the parking space, it's yours. But if you don't put money in the meter, or you just have a red line, so it's not so simple that you can make a sukkah mobile there, or in a sukkah in somebody else's property. If you have own property next to your house, let's say, which is not legally yours, and you want to build a sukkah on that property, it's not so simple that you'd be allowed to. I mean, b'di'evah it's kosher, but you can't make a leisha b'sukkah, so,